Welcome to the Blue House Bull Session, everybody. We are happy to have you here with us on this absolutely wonderful Wednesday. Right? I do this every Wednesday. That's when we do this. I'm pretty sure. Joining us today, we have Off by One, the other partner in. Hang on. We'll come back to that. We have news. But Off by one of the founding members of Hurgle Studios in its current incarnation, one of our insanely talented and downright friendly developers and bug fixers and everything else we make you do. Off by One, welcome. Matt, I'm just going to dox you here, have a name. It's on our website anyway.
Yeah, thank you. I think you talked me up way too much, but I'm happy to be here. So.
Oh, not at all, man. Let me tell you, I have had the good fortune of working with him in a professional context for a number of years now, and I don't know if I could describe well enough just how skilled you are at this stuff. You know, and I know games is kind of a new field for you, but just development in general, I have seen so much good output from you. How long have you been at this, all in all?
I was thinking about that yesterday, actually, because I had to write it down. And it depends how you count, but I started developing when I was like 12-ish, off and on, and then a lot when I was in high school. So it was like 15, maybe 17 years, depending on how you're counting. But
how do you how did you get into it, if you don't mind me being nosy?
Ooh, yeah, when I was like 12, I read a tutorial on like Windows batch scripting, and that was it's not good, but it was fun.
What were you doing at 12 where you were reading about
I don't remember why I looked it up. I just found it somewhere. And I was like, huh, that looks interesting. And so I just opened it up, started writing it in Notepad. It was like, huh, this is kind of fun.
Nice.
And then eventually I realized that batch scripting is absolutely horrible.
There are
not a good language.
Better options, but for what it is, it's really effective. You've got a really strong Linux background, right?
Yeah, I love Linux. I started Linux when I was junior in high school or so. So
I suppose these are all things I probably should have asked at the interview. We did make you go through a formal interview process to join Hurgle. We have Jacob's in our chat, and piece of news I will drop for everyone. Jacob has officially attained partnership at Hurgle Studios through his very dedicated efforts and, just kind of showing off his chops with Desolate Realms and everything. But we didn't have quite the same formal interview process with him. The counterpoint to that is we had separate discussions with him over time. It was not the intention when we had him on the podcast, but it kind of flowed out of that. And Matt and I also work with him in the day job, so we've already seen what that madman can do. I think if we just get ourselves a nice little collection of mad lads, that's what it's going to take.
If you get enough crazy people together, eventually you'll make something.
What exactly you make is a question.
I don't know what it'll be, but it'll be interesting.
So tell me, we have kind of a running joke that since we're having you on in the context of at Hurgle Studios, that we were going to grill you and make you give away the big secrets. What's coming up? What's next? What do you foresee for the future?
Oh, God. I don't think I'm allowed to disclose this information.
Oh man, if you want disclosure issues, yeah, disclosure issues is going to be next week. We actually have an employee of Twitch joining us next week. But
oh,
how have you enjoyed it so far? Like now that you're actively working on things that are games, what's your experience in that being like not your main background in development?
It's been interesting. I would say, a lot of development is it's development. Like, a lot of it translates over. I would also say the stuff I've been working on so far has been it's not as much in the game territory as some of the other stuff you have. So I think I'm kind of only getting my feet wet, but
Fair.
I mean, so far, it's been a good time.
Do you have anything you have done so far that you're particularly proud of or want to share or show off?
Ooh, that's you put me on the spot.
I mean, I know what I'm going to suggest. You turned daily chess Sudoku from a proof of concept into an actual pretty website.
I am pretty happy with how that has turned out so far. There's a lot more stuff I want to do on it, but I think
the big
I like
performance
the look so far.
boost. Don't forget
Well,
about
yeah,
that.
that
Finishing
was-
the puzzles, that's a big performance boost. That went a long way.
That one was that one was a little critical once we launched it. Why does this page take like a minute to load?
Unreal.
You know,
But yeah, if you had a dream project to pitch, what would it be?
dream project. You might have to get back to me on that one.
we'll give you a minute or two to think
kinds of
there.
questions.
Absolutely, yeah. But yeah,
I mean-
go ahead.
Oh no. I don't know. I mean, I really like sandbox games. We haven't really talked anything about that, but
Ooh.
just games where you're kind of open to do, kind of various things, and it's more about making. And this is kind of goes back to I don't do much game development. Like there's no story involved with sandbox games necessarily. Like in Minecraft, there's no story to Minecraft. You just get dropped in the world, and it's just a.
They kind of tacked one
it's
on
programmed
at some
to work
point,
as it
but
does.
it wasn't built there from the ground up. Yeah. Could
It's
dig
more
something
about
like that, though.
the gameplay and the how everything works together.
I dig that. Yeah, what have you been playing? What's your go-to?
What's my go-to? I have actually been playing a lot of Minecraft recently.
I can dig it.
Yeah, my daughter finally is old enough to get into it, so that's a fun time.
Good.
It's definitely a game. It's a lot of fun if you have a couple people to play with.
Yeah.
Work on a world and
makes a big difference if you've got the right group. You playing on a private server? You set one up?
Yeah, I've just been hosting one at my house, which is interesting.
More of that Linux
pretty
stuff.
Easy, yeah. Well, I already had a Linux server, so I just threw it on there. Everyone's got one of those in their house.
Just sitting in the closet over there. I do too. It took me a while to stand it up, but I do too. And I'm sure Fuzzy does, right?
No, I run my Linux server on Windows.
That's cheating.
I used to for a very long time have, oh God, what was that software called? VirtualBox.
Yeah.
That's how I did that for a long time. And then it's well, realistically, all I really need is piece by piece, all the functionality that I needed Linux for, you could just do natively on Windows. And you could run Apache on Windows. You could run PHP on Windows on Apache on Windows. You could just do all of that. So that's one of the first things I install is a local Apache PHP server.
But counterpoint, you could do it on Linux instead.
No, because I can do it in Windows for Linux Substack layer majiggy thing.
WSL.
No, okay. WSL 1 was flaky. WSL 2, if you have a system that supported it, is a lot faster, a lot smoother. They actually got the kinks worked out.
It's
okay. It is actually good and functional. I have used it for a long time.
I mean, yeah, I use it at work. It's not bad. It's just I'd rather just have
Winget and Chocolatey and the other stuff. It's getting close enough to being, just how, Mac OS for a long time was basically a very polished, shiny veneer over a Linux machine.
Yeah.
Windows is becoming that. All the things you want I want a GUI, but I want, Linux underneath because I need to do developer things. Like Windows is basically like 80 to 90% there.
We're
It's like,
right there. We're
why do I do that
right on the
anymore?
cusp of it. Yeah.
You're not wrong. I definitely do feel. I feel a lot more comfortable in like treating Windows as Linux now.
Yeah.
than
For
I
a
used to.
developer. If you need to do real Linux things, then yeah, there's nothing's going to beat that. But if I need to be able to like npm install and get things to work, you can just do that now. That's what we do now.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Also, we're aided by two big things, which is Docker, where if you need a Linux machine, you can just run one. It doesn't matter what you're on. I see that thumbs down. We're coming back to that.
Wow.
I gotta
Like
bring up my
Docker.
second point, which is that everything's in the browser now. It doesn't have to be, but like everything we've been doing lives in a web browser, and a lot of that seems to be the direction things are going. Even things that are traditionally desktop, game engines and stuff like that, have HTML export. Everything runs in a browser. Everything ever runs in a browser. If you can't run it in a browser, you don't need it.
Browser has fulfilled the dream that Java was trying to do a million years ago.
Yeah.
Whereas you write it, and there's a common framework engine that anybody can implement their own version, but as long as you meet these standards, you can take somebody else's code and run it on their machine in whatever weird way. You didn't have to use the Oracle, JVE. You could use a different one, but as long as it did the Java thing and did the things, it would run your program. That's what browsers have become.
Now, there is a question for you. What, like numbers wise, how do you think V8 compares to the JVM?
Oh, I'll tell you right now, just from Minecraft alone, it is rocket engines versus sticks and stones.
Ooh, that's hard. I mean, I think it's hard to compare the two. I mean, the JVM is very optimized actually for what it does.
For real Java, yes. For Minecraft, no.
Well, I mean, yeah, Minecraft has other problems. Like if you wrote Minecraft in the browser, it would still be slow.
I don't know.
For how they wrote it and all the stuff they shoved in there and how it works.
I would like to point at, what's the name for the not Java one? Is that Bedrock?
The Bedrock
or is Bedrock?
Yeah,
Well, the Bedrock one is written native.
Right, but that's also kind of, if you rewrote Java Minecraft today to do all the stuff Java Minecraft does and not whatever Abomination Bedrock is, you would end up writing in the same way you would write it in a browser. I really think you would.
Okay. Here. If you were going to make Hurglecraft, I'm picking a terrible name. Can I unsay that name? If we're going to make your sandbox game, if we're going to make the next Minecraft, talk to me about what that looks like.
Step 1, design the fishing system. Step 2, define the crafting system. Step 3, I don't care. I'm going to be busy fishing when you guys finish the game.
Yeah, there's the problem.
I'm not against it, just in principle. But like, what does that tech stack look like? Like, I wouldn't want to do it all in the browser, I would assume. No, we're not putting fishing in the cafe game.
Fishing in the cafe.
We can have a fishing mini game in many other things. You cannot have fishing in the cafe
Fishing
game.
is coming in the fishing game. Please just wait.
Yes.
It is on our roadmap. I'm working on the design doc right now. It will be coming. Please wait. No, seriously. I didn't tell you guys about that. Yeah. No, I've been designing a fishing game
there's
for
a real fishing game.
Yeah. Tiny side story. I pitched to Jason like all the to fill in the gap between major Zelda games, that what they should do is the same way that Pokemon does, is they have an A game and like an A team, B team. So they're all, one team is working on it while the other, because it takes, you have to leapfrog, otherwise it stagnates. What they should do is have a B Zelda team that puts out a not major story game. They put out a Link's Crossbow, and then the next major game's out, and they put a mini game or a side story, just like a fun little game that isn't a big chunk of story. One of the things they should have did is they should have made a game that was all the mini games across the entire series. Every shoot the pots, every crane game, every fishing mini game, all the stuff from across the entire series. It is just Hyrule mini games. That's it. Pick a game and play it.
Don't forget lemons. You have to go round up all the little chicks with the mask on. Exactly.
Right. But you could even filter that down more and just make just the fishing games out of the entire 30+ year series. Just have
Link's fishing training.
Hyrule Best Shop, yeah.
And just have it all the fishing games. And I'm like, we could just write that.
Yeah, Sploosh Kaboom would absolutely need to be in there. People want those. There are people that go back and play that part of the game,
How many people have started a not is it Majora's Mask? No, Ocarina of Time. And played it up to the point where you get to the fishing lake with the Rumble Pack and just sat there fishing. And they don't finish the game. They play just enough of a game to get to the fishing game, and all they do is sit and fish.
I can think of exactly one person who has done that. I'm not saying there's only one, but I know one personally.
Yes.
Sploosh Kaboom campaign mode. Yeah, I'm Battleship, but Hyrule.
I think tech stack wise, I think you could do a lot of the rendering in the browser and do a lot of the braining on the server side. You would almost have to, because you can't have the logic run, locally and stuff.
You can't have the logic run locally? Oh man, I have
to
change everything I've ever done.
You can't have in a multiplayer game. You can't have the decisions made locally. It has to.
No,
I'm going to do this. Okay, here's your.
I get what you're saying. I'm just saying that I am particularly a offender in that sense, where I make the clients do too much thinking, and we've seen how that's worked out.
Much the same way that the rise of cloud gaming, where the whole thing is being rendered somewhere else and they're just piping the video frames to you, basically like Netflix with a controller, basically, right?
I love it.
What is they're just piping video to you. You just happen to be sending input to them.
It's big truth. It's just strange.
Instead of them rendering video frames and sending those to you, they could send basically the data that the web page would render live.
Yeah.
So you could still do it in web technologies, which would eliminate a lot of stuff, but any of the data and the choices and the processing largely happens somewhere in the cloud. But realistically, if you're not rendering, you don't need to have a bank, you don't need a shadow box with a bank of 4080s in it, rendering frames and piping those. You're sending packets of data and they're rendering locally, but they're just doing it in web technology and not whatever bespoke 3D, engine. It's basically how MMOs are. They exist to render the data coming from somewhere else. We're just not doing it in an engine. We're doing it in browser tech.
I could dig that.
I mean, these exist already. That what you're basically making is, I hate to say it, Club Penguin.
Yeah, well, okay. What makes ours stand out? What's going to be our hook?
Our pool won't be closed.
Rectangles and penguins are taken already. And whatever Roblox's gimmick is.
Yes! Broke him! Yeah!
Catch your victories where you can, yeah.
It's an old joke, but it still checks out.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think what what I like about those games, what would we steal and what would we not? Do we need a story mode? Do we need a dragon you beat up at the end of it?
I have a lot of experience playing various MMO and MMO-like things. I will tell you, you need to cater to the largest group of people. So you need content. You need endless content. You need your story mode, but you need an endless dungeon grind mode. If somebody just wants to go into infinite dungeon and just keep going until they die and they're just trying to set a high record, let them do that. Give them that. Don't make them repeat the same dungeon. Go back into the dungeon instance and run the same 20-minute thing again. No, you give them a never-ending, randomly generated, subsurfers that always gets harder and harder and harder until it is over.
So what
Because
I'm
people will
hearing
grind that.
is Rogue 3D. Like, not even a roguelike, straight up just Rogue. I have the source code to it around here somewhere that we dress up in a skin with a fishing minigame.
With a fishing.
But that needs to be an option. But there also needs to be a completable, I have completed the story. Oh, okay. Jason's audio setup is weird and convoluted because he also does music streaming on this channel on Fridays. Sometimes, occasionally. So he's got his audio set like 3 different ways, and he's got actual mixers and stuff. Because all of when he's playing, his guitar and his keyboard aren't actually playing in the room. He's not microphone. They are lined into a mixer. And so he's got like a weird like double loopback thing because he also uses it for audio and stuff. Like he doesn't use the headset mic.
Hear himself and
right, but like he like switches on and off different parts of it for when he's doing this streaming versus the other thing. But they also feed into his computer, which is why sometimes you hear him on headset mic and sometimes you hear him through, piped in microphone, but they're all like double mixed in. So sometimes his mixer dies because his cats eat cables and step on things, and his cable management is a nightmare.
Calling him out. Oh, we're almost back.
Let's see if this is any better.
Oh.
Now let me check my sources and see if it's actually getting picked up. No, it is not.
Somebody.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, there we go.
Let
me drop that back down a little bit so I'm at a tolerable level, but we should have some variant of audio. No, that actually is my vocal processor will not power on anymore. Like, I think it just hard died.
It just died.
It just died. Yeah.
That's
$100 I didn't have. Yeah, it sure is. Wah, wah. Anyway, I apologize for the change in sound and the horrible, screeching, murderous buzz. But so it goes sometimes. You just kind of roll with it, right? That's what I'm gonna tell myself. That may change my plans for Friday a little bit too. Anyway,
we deeply apologize. We'll cut this out in post.
So that said,
we don't
fishing minigame. I can edit it out. I have editing software. It just means I'm going to add another step before I put it up for tomorrow on YouTube. I can do that. Our one loyal viewer who comments on every video that gets released the day after the podcast is live. Bless his heart. I need to talk to him and tell him to come be on the show one of these days.
Who's that?
It's Scott.
Oh.
It's Scott.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead and export it to YouTube and use the editor there to like just overlay a thing, replace the audio there.
yeah, that'll probably be the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So where were we? Infinite dungeons if you want to grind, a storyline so people can feel like they completed something, and a fishing minigame. What else do we need? I should be writing this down. Are you taking notes? Are we going to discuss this at our next sync meeting?
It's recorded. Go back and make the notes later.
I can't. I'll be busy editing it to cut out the buzz.
I'll take notes.
Currency, a market.
Auction house? Who would we model that market after? That's an interesting question. Because you've played enough different MMOs that I know you've got opinions on this.
I like two things that are very disparate from each other, and not a lot of people like them, but I like the mechanics of them. Final Fantasy XI had a blind market. You would go up to the market board and say, I want to buy this item for 50,000. And it would say, okay, here's one of them, and not tell you how much the person put it up for. If I go up and if I look at the history and say, oh, they're selling for 50,000, and I put up mine at 50,000, it'll sell. If you go up and put yours at 40,000, it'll sell for 50,000. But if somebody else goes and puts up 45, it'll sell yours. It's a blind lowest person first. If I go up there and take that risk and I put mine up for 1 to just race to the bottom and sell it, and you say I will pay 50,000, it'll sell mine. But if you go in there, I'll pay you 100 to try to catch those people. It will. So you like want to like undercut to be the best, but you don't want to go too low because somebody will like I'll bid 80% and see what happens, or I'll bid $1 and see what happens. I liked that.
That's somehow both sinister and perfect. Like, I love it and I hate it at the same time.
Now, one thing I will tell you is inflation in an online economy where money is generated from nothing. You do a quest, you do a dungeon, you just get money. You need to have an equivalent amount of money sinks to take that money out of the economy. Teleport costs, hotel fees, whatever. You need things that just cost money that people have to do. One of the way they do this is auction house fees. What we could do is have both types of auctions. The 11 kind where it's blind, but also the 14 kind where you see the prices that are listed and you can choose which one. And you can choose, and they're different. Like, there's an increased fee if you buy something in the same city, there's less taxes. Versus you buy something from another city, it's only like 2 or 3%, or up to like 5% maybe. But like, if you buy something in the same city, it's less, to encourage travel and stuff, which also takes more money out of the economy.
Yeah.
Have both of these, but have that blind one have like less fees, so you can do it, but it's like black market kind of. It's off books. Like, you just have to say how much you're willing to pay, and you get it or you don't. You don't get to. It's not a on the books listed thing. You have shops, but you have the blind market. Have both.
I like the idea of that because it also gives you the option of like some sort of reputation system, legitimacy in the non-blind one, where there's another one of your money sinks is in order to list on the non-blind one, you have to register with the guild that makes whatever type of item. So you could have to register for every flavor of item you want to get. Okay, I see. I'm picking up what you're putting down here. I see what's going on.
And one last thing that I want to pull from Eve is buy contracts. I want this thing. I want this high-level item crafted. I put up half the cost, or I put the full value in escrow, takes it out of my account and puts it in there, and there's an order and somebody they go and make the item, supply it, they get the money, and then item gets sent to me. If there's something that's hard to make or rare materials, they're not just going to go waste them before and hope somebody wants them. But if I want it, I don't have to I don't have to be online at the same person at the same time. I can just post a buy order for a thing, and somebody else can go and fulfill it.
Okay.
They know there's a demand for it.
Now, this leads to another question. I love the idea of Minecraft's simple crafting system, but we need to make them work for it. Like, what kind of crafting minigame or mini-games does it take to make items? Put items in grid is great solo, but if you have a marketplace, I want more than just put items in a square.
Items in a square works for the recipe. That should not be... Oh, gummy bear go down the wrong hole. That should be the recipe way. Or finding the recipe should be easy. Crafting it should take human interaction, because otherwise it will be botted.
Right.
But you can't make it... It has to be able to be... There's a fine line. If you make it too hard for a human to do, you run into issues with skill and dexterity and stuff. You can't make it a reaction-based thing, because people's, reaction times, disabilities, blah, blah, blah. You'll just get torn to shreds by the community. But if you make it, just, whack-a-mole, click the things, somebody's going to write a bot to do that.
Yeah. That is true.
Gotta be like,
that is true.
It's got to be like typing of the dead or something. Typing of you have to do a thing that is reasonable for a human to do. Solve this CAPTCHA. Okay, you crafted 100 arrows. It's like botting, or you embrace the botting and be like, look, you can auto craft this. It's gonna run a lot slower. It's gonna run 10 times slower. If you want to queue up all the materials and you want to make 100 of these swords, okay, it's gonna take you an hour. If you want to queue it up and you want to do it by hand, that's only going to take a few seconds to do each one, as long as, you're doing a thing that is hard for a machine to do. But you can single craft, you just crank them out. But if you want to auto craft, it's going to go a lot slower.
And no prestige level items. If you auto craft swords, you absolutely get a base sword. Zero chance of getting whatever enhancement, extra buff, bonus possible. That's only available if you manually craft.
14 has a auto craft thing like that, and there's only a 1% chance of getting high quality when you just auto craft a bunch of stuff, where you can easily get far more than 1% if you do it manually. What a lot of people are calling for is, I need to craft 100 of these or 50 of these or whatever. I will take a 0% chance for the high quality if you just instant craft this entire thing. My time is more valuable. I will take 0 bonus free money if you just instant craft. Like, you have the things. There's no reason you can just go subtract 50 ores and 50 crystals and give me 50 things in one inventory transaction and not shink, one in it. No, it's literally just, it does the animation with the little sparkle effect, just back to back to back, and it's like, okay, I'll be back in a minute. I'm gonna go get a drink, because this will still take 3 minutes to do a stack of 100.
Yeah, but you hit a point. Maybe this is just me. You hit a point in game mechanics like that where, as a developer, sometimes you're driven to say no and put your foot down and stomp like a petulant child and say, I want you to sit and wait. I am deliberately introducing an artificial delay here. Yes, it would be more optimized if you did this, but it would get you to level 999 the fastest is going in and hex editing your save. No, I'm putting an artificial limitation in here in the form of a time sink for crafting. And I'm way too often on the side of that. We've gone back and forth about quality of improvement things in multiple different games where it's like, yes, this would make it easier at that point. How can I gate that away? How can I not make it so that the game has no engagement at the very beginning?
Yeah. I think all this boils down to something that is key. And I know we at Hurgle, and also we as just people who use stuff, is far too often the people that are making, the studios that are making games, do not play their games enough. Including the people that people actually doing the designing, that are coming up with these mechanics. They don't play, they interact with the game so they have an idea with it, but they don't design, they don't actively, they're not putting in their 30 hours a week, you know, doing their grinding, raiding every night. Like, one of the few reasons 14 is as good as it is Yoshi P, the head director, producer. I don't know what he's not head of it anymore. He's head of like global something now. He plays a lot. He plays Black Mage, one of the more technical, hard to play ones, and he plays on a controller. It's why the controller input is so good on the game. Is he is a mad lad, and he plays on his PlayStation 4, now 5, with a controller. It's why controller input doesn't suck.
I get that.
People don't. Our games are as good because how many runs of Madoka's Digits did we play?
Oh Lord,
I
still.
How many thousands? How many games of Cafe you sit and play? Of Can Do have you played just to test mechanics? We play the games. We understand in the trenches what is actually going on. Any one of these MMO mechanics that we're discussing is because we as players know how the world actually works.
Right. We're making games that we want to play in the first place, so they get played by us.
It's the same analogy in the real world when you have not store managers, but like district managers that were hired to be a district manager,
who have not worked on the front lines in the shop.
On the line, and were never. They say, get your numbers up. Like, we can't make people buy more stuff. You could tell us to upsell, but you can't sell any more game warranties or subscriptions to a shitty magazine, no matter how many times you yell at us.
Yeah.
We can only upsell the $5 a month, save card so much, and all our customers have it. We can't make more.
Right.
And you can tell those orders come down. It's the same way. People have never worked on the grill. You can't tell them to work faster. The grill only goes so far. And the managers that have come up from the bottom, that have played the games, and have worked their way up to designer, and now they're running a studio, understand these things. The biggest thing I can say is you have to listen. You can't design by committee.
Yeah.
Like, it's a double-edged sword. You can't just take every feedback from the community, but you have to be listening to them. Because if enough people give you the idea that, like, hey, we want this would increase quality of life in the game, you have to look at it and be like, yeah. And if you were in the trenches, you are playing the game, you would know that is a thing that should exist. Why doesn't that exist? It's the reason Minecraft modding took off the way it did. Is the people who play Minecraft wrote the mods because they realized this thing was missing. Inventory management is, pardon my friends, a massive steaming shithole in Minecraft, which is why there's 4 or 5 major, there's refined storage and AE and advanced engineering and AE2 and all that just to store items in a way, because looking through 1,000 chests is insane.
Yeah.
Because people wanted that to exist, so they manifested it. If you don't have a game where you can add complex systems like Minecraft can, and there's no way to do it, you are dependent on the studio doing it. You have to be playing to realize, yes, we need a better interface for this. Anytime there is a bad interface in a game, they're not playing that game. Because they are not also frustrated by it and be like, why is this? How many bug fixes if I come to you, Jay, and be like, this is annoying when I do this. Why does this exist? And you're like, oh, I did not realize that because I wasn't doing it that way, or I wasn't using this media that way. And you're like, oh. But how many bugs have you fixed? Because you're like, I'm angry, I can't click on this or this way, or drag this, I can't just drag it over here. And you go and you fix it yourself.
Yeah, 100%. I run into those moments all the time, and it's something that I see that I want to be able to do in the game, or something. And this is one we've gone back and forth about a lot, is I'm bad at writing design documents. I'm not necessarily bad at designing, but I'm bad at the planning part of it. Because for me, there's a limit to how far my vision goes. And until I'm playing the game, I don't know that it's a bad idea to do. I'm trying to think of what the most recent example is, and I can't come up with one. I know there are a million of them. Go watch Cafe VODs on my channel. But
Yeah.
it until I'm in there and trying it, I don't know, oh, this is no fun at all. Let's find a better way to do it.
I'll flip it on you. You've been writing and playing the cafe game, and I have been using the web interface. You have not really had to use the web interface because you've got the game interface in front of you.
Right.
One of these days, we're going to sit down and I'm going to run the game, and you're going to be in the chat, and you're going to be using the web interface, and you are going to rapidly find all the same annoyances that I found.
Oh, I hope so.
Because
I'm
you're like,
really looking forward to that.
This is different side of the mirror.
I'm really looking forward to that one.
I haven't been able to find. I don't play Sudoku that much, so it's like I didn't think about the controls. You know, all the keyboard shortcuts that Matt added. I didn't even think about those because I just click and think. I didn't think about keyboard shortcuts to do all that because I don't do it. I never would have added those because I don't play it, and I don't play it at that level where you would need to be able to go, you know, rapidly mark and unmark your squares as you're, you know, like I'm like click
Very accurate description
one.
of how it goes.
Did you do today's puzzles yet, Matt, by the way?
I have not.
You know, it's called daily for a reason. Do I need to write you
I know. I'm so bad about it.
By the way,
Probably, you do them much faster than I do, I will say.
Well,
It's a commitment for me.
even knowing the rules, sometimes it helps to have some insight into the thought process. We are in the process actively. I think I have a PR out for it. We are in the process of adding a strategy guide, and I will be recording some tutorial videos, which we will be debuting on the new Hurgle Studios YouTube channel over the weekend. But yeah, I was thinking about that because we talked about that a little bit before, and you were picking on me because I just blazed through them. But it's not just a matter of practice, but recognizing a certain set of strategy patterns that make it way faster to do these puzzles. And I think after you go through those and practice a little bit and watch the tutorial videos, you'll be like, duh, that makes sense. I know it. I have been doing it implicitly now that I know explicitly what to check for. And then your times are going to rival mine, and it's going to be fantastic, and we'll scare all the new people away. I'm level 6, by the way.
You level 6?
I'm level 6.
What is that? That's going to be...
Yeah, it's 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 7, 6.
is that
What?
as in 6 as in you filled six rings?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you get one if you do like 3? If you solve all 3 a day, is that 3?
That's 3, yes.
Yeah, it's...
Okay.
It is based on total number of puzzles solved.
You've still done it for like a month.
Yeah. Well, I'm
Impressive.
I'm proud of it. I like that game. That's why I made the site. I say I.
Oh.
That's why we made this site.
Throw another thing on the MMO list. Daily content. Not. I know FOMO sucks, but as long as it's just like everybody has something, there is a reason to do it every day. You need to have. As long as you throttle it the right way, you need daily FOMO. You need a reason to log in, if not every day. There's something to do every day's worth. Even if you only log in once a week and you do 7 of them, there is a thing that builds up every day that you can do.
Oh, definitely. Little to the left has made me absolutely crazy on those
Yeah.
rare days I have missed because there's no way to go back and do that day's thing. And all it is moving things around on a screen. I mean, I know at the end of the day all video games are, but very literally, you drag and drop things into the correct position. But it's so dopamine rush satisfying to sort and organize.
I got that. The relief when I finally got the 30-day achievement for that, just like, it was a weight off my shoulders.
Yeah.
Because streaks, look, Duolingo or Instagram or Snap or whatever, that's not even a game. It's literally just social media, just streaks in general. It's not even daily. It's daily. It's not even FOMO. It's well, I guess it is kind of FOMO, but like, just the idea of, yeah, you want people to come back. You want recurring, monthly subs. Give them streaks. Reward consistent patronage.
We do have a ticket for that for daily chess. I made a joke that, like, since there are 3 puzzles available a day, that we should have like a GitHub contribution graph that shows how many puzzles you did on each day and all of that, and showing consistency there. I would like to, like, if you have a certain number of days in a row that you've done at least one puzzle, in addition to your little level badge, we'll give you the fire icon. You're on fire, man. Keep going. We need that. That's good another idea. One. And we're like looping on looping in this conversation, because that goes back to, I love the chess Sudoku puzzles. I do them every day, but I'm in there using that website every day. And as I'm using it every day, I keep seeing things and being like, this is what we need next. This would make the experience even better. And it's because I'm taking the time to play it.
And now, it doesn't blind your eyes.
Yes. We've got dark mode slated to be pushed up very shortly here too, complete with a slightly different color theme. So that'll keep you from your retinas melting. I love dark mode. Why didn't I? I did such a half-assed job of baking in dark mode from the beginning. I wanted it, and then I did it wrong, and then Fuzzy, bless him.
You did it right. You just never actually installed the switch for it.
And it works. It's so nice. It's so nice.
Yeah.
See, I have the advantage of being able to play on like all the unreleased builds as we're testing it. Man, I don't know how I talked my way into getting the source code for all of this stuff, but it was so nice.
You got the source code because most of it only exists on your computer. Nudge, nudge, jab, twist, knife.
Hey. I put in my giant PR for the web thing, and I marked it for review so everyone could go look at it, and then I wrote up all the individual tickets so I could go fix the new stuff one at a time. I'm working on it. It's an adjustment for me. I'm working on it.
It is hard to go from working by yourself on your project that only exists on your head to having to do it in a way that other people have to also work on that same code base and also review your stuff.
Yeah. It's a good thing, though, and I will say that I've got exactly the right team of people I want doing code reviews for me, and that's something that I picked up through the day job, is the concept of an actual like code review, a pull request, a look at this and tell me how bad I screwed it up. When you are learning development, it is easy to get in the mindset of, I can't show this to anyone because it's garbage. When you're working with other people, you need to rapidly learn that half of that is true. It is garbage. But you have to show it to someone else so that it can be better.
It's not always garbage.
Yeah. All code is garbage.
It is. It is. 100%.
There's some code is less garbage than other code.
Yes, but the only way to get it there is to wipe the schmutz off of it.
Remember this. We ship products, not lines of code.
Yeah.
Nobody cares if your
Nobody
feature
cares. Yeah.
Nobody cares if your feature, you manage to do it in some arcane little syntactic sugar weird thing that's only like 3 lines and like it's super hard to read, or if it's like 50 lines and broken out and extra variables. As long as it does the thing, the end user does not care, and they'll never know, because chances are the compiler will do a better job of optimizing it. Write your code for humans. Let the machines write the machine code, because that's what they do.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
Don't write bad code, but don't try to sub-optimize a turd.
Yeah.
Because anything you're writing for the web, between Webpack and shims and all that stuff, you are writing in a human language to write to a shit language to be run in a optimized browser. You're not worrying about like, oh, I'm gonna clear this so it's cleared up over. It's like, no, the browser's gonna handle that.
There's a million
Just
ways
like garbage collection exists. Yeah.
Million ways to solve every problem. If it works, yours is the right one. If it does not do what it's supposed to, go back and adjust it. But if it works, you pick the right one. It doesn't matter what it is. If it works, you did it right. Hard stop.
And yes, sometimes you need a global variable.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need a go-to. Because sometimes there's no way to solve the weird step you have to do without just a go-to.
There are a lot of times when articles are written like that and people take them as gospel. And the truth of the matter is, what the article is trying to say before you add that clickbait of considered harmful to the title is, if you're doing it this way, make sure you know why you're doing it this way. If it's a deliberate choice, go ahead and do it. If you're doing it because you don't know another way, maybe look into if there's another way. Programming is in addition to, you know, a skill and a hobby, a collection of aphorisms. There's tons of little pithy sayings, and it's easy for that to get kind of cargo cultish.
Oh, very much so.
There's also within any org, even at a large level, not even just within departments or just one team within that department. You know, not a whole company, not engineering, or just one air. You get an echo chamber of mentality of somebody learns something and there's like, yeah, that's a good idea. We'll also do that. And then everybody just does that and never thinks about anything else. And that is good for homogeny and same thought patterns. So you can move as a herd, but at the same time, if you're so hardened to only doing that and never introducing a new idea or never considering a new way, that's bad.
Yeah. If you've got that one guy who writes everything in JavaScript because it's the language that he feels like he moves fastest in.
You've got that one outlier whose code never works because he uses Firefox.
Hey!
I'll have you know, I have Firefox on my computer, and I use it when I stream because it's not Chrome, and I can have a separate executable to have audio source reasons. I use it enough; it is perfectly fine. Just not for anything anything real people do.
You know, for that. Do I just go to getfirefox.com? Where's it at? I'm installing Firefox right now.
I don't even know what website it's on.
Right now, I am installing Firefox. That is what I am going to do now. You are making a convert out of me, just so that I'll have the ability.
I'm impressed.
No, I legitimately do use it for. I do use it for things that just. I'm a Google person. All my information's in Google. It's a whole lot easier to sign into Google with a Google browser because shit just works.
Yeah, that is how they got me trapped into their ecosystem. I was such a Firefox guy until Chrome.
It's funny, yeah, because I used Firefox when Chrome came out. I used Chrome for a while, and then I went back because it stopped being a cool thing. So yeah.
And then there's our dear friend Jackson Perotti, who may be the only person I know who
Oh,
actually uses Opera.
Is he using like Opera or not like Opera GX or like one of the like
He's
narrow
using
clones or something?
Opera. Like Opera.org Opera, yeah.
yeah. I used to use it, but I mean, like, I don't know, 6 years ago, it just became a Chrome clone, and then I didn't care anymore. So, yeah, like it used to have its own renderer.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was written by the Opera people, whoever they are. And then one day, like, yeah, we're done doing this. We're just going to use Chromium. It's like, well,
I think
you
the
just
biggest
defeated
thing
the
for
whole
me,
point of you
yeah.
existing. So.
The biggest thing for me is I'm going to have to get set up with a password manager and also other information tracker that's not Google if I switch browsers. And I should. On the surface, I am acutely aware that I should be doing that in the first place.
Yeah.
Firefox has a built-in password manager.
Do they have a credit card
I
manager?
don't use.
Do they have a credit card manager for payments?
Yes.
All right, that's the other thing that I really count on
I don't put
Google
my credit
tracking
cards
for
in there,
me. So
but that's a separate issue.
no.
I would like to throw in. Okay, the one advantage of using the built-in one with that is on Chrome, your key store there is actually tied to your Google account, so it's not like just in your browser. You just go somewhere else and log, like it's there, so it automatically syncs.
Yeah.
And also the credit card things you can have them. They're effectively in Google Wallet. You just can access them through the Chrome.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're stored in browser. So there is that advantage.
I could always put
Yeah, I mean,
Firefox on my phone though.
With Firefox, it's synced to your like Mozilla account. So
Same
like
thing,
my
yeah.
passwords on my computer are all on my phone as well, and
Yeah.
you can autocomplete in apps and stuff.
One password.
Damn it, you guys are going to convert me. You absolutely are. All right, we're at 7 o'clock. I think we're going to take a break for about, well, I'll let you finish your thought, and then we're going to take a break for 5.
I would say I use one password. I have been for years. We had it at my last job because people were just. It was the easiest way to store passwords that you could just keep them secure and also be able to share vaults and all this stuff. And it's actually a lot better now because you can actually like have a separate vault and share just that vault with people. Like I have a Hurgle vault for all these accounts I'm setting up for the Hurgle ones.
Oh yeah.
So if like I ever got fired from Hurgle, I just like boop, delete that vault and
I hope. I hope.
Yeah.
If anything ever happens, I'm just like, boop, sell that vault. All right, yeah, we're going to take a 5-minute break here, run a couple ads real quick, get up, get some water. I recommend you do the same. Leave the stream up because we'll be back in 5, 6, 7 minutes. But thank you.
Had to go, Matt.
Actually, I should be good. So
Yeah, I think we will be
I will
covered.
be around. If you want me around, I mean, I can leave.
Oh,
You
you
said
are a vital part
No,
of our.
I originally said I had to go, but I think I am good. So.
All right, we will catch you guys in just a few. Welcome back, everybody. We are happy to be back here with you. The Blue House Bull session with Off by One, Matt, the other member of Hurgle Studios. Glad to have him with us today. I pointed the wrong direction. Which side are you on? You're stage right. Okay, I got this now. I got this. I can do this. I know what's going on. Been talking about games. Been talking about development. Been talking about Linux. What haven't we been talking about? That's pretty much all we talk about here. We're still grilling him for all the upcoming secret details from Hurgle Studios. No, we did talk a bit about what we have coming for daily chess. We've got the dark mode stuff. We've got the strategy page coming up. User profiles are something we would like to have where you can track your stats a little bit better and maybe share them with other people. That's something.
I thought that was out.
Not yet. Not yet.
Proof of concept type thing.
Yeah, it needs cleaned up, but there is a branch that exists for it. But that's something that I actually do want to bring up just in general for us going forward too, is I am such an egotist. I want to show off. Like Wordle, I'm going to directly blame Wordle for this, where I have a pressing need to show other people how good I am at a video game. You know, seeing everybody's Twitter feed be nothing but green and gray boxes, I got hooked on that. I need a way to show that off.
I was thinking about that thing because I mean, it's very clever and it's great like advertising in a way, you know. Everyone's showing how they did.
I got today's whatnot in some amount of time. Click here to challenge me. And we'll add a button you can cross-post it to every social media walled garden mess out there. And I think that might be the way to go for something like that. Should I write the ticket up now? I'll write the ticket up now. How do I get to GitHub? It's over here somewhere, I'm sure of it. Beep beep beep.
Yeah, I don't know how to show the Sudoku. Like, it's not really great to show the progression of solving the puzzle. It's a bit too long, but maybe we could come up with something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
If nothing else, we can absolutely show.
Like solve time.
Right. Oh! I have a really bad idea.
Oh.
There's 9 regions in the grid, right? The big squares. Yeah. What if we just show the order those get filled in? If we track that. And then we make like a 3x3 grid of the like 1 through 9 number emojis. That's terrible, but it.
Oh, that's very terrible.
It is a thing we could do.
You can control which order you solve them in as well.
Yes, you can.
Know, like once you get to the end, you know, you can generally fill in the last few any order you want.
I'll
like
put in the notes here so it'll be completely useless to anybody who reads it. What we talked about in the podcast. The title of the card is Sharing Link for Solves, so that'll give us some context. The description I probably should make less vague. Way to share to social
descriptions like
media.
That.
Yeah.
I do that at work, and that drives me insane.
I just saw one of those too. Yeah.
I also hate it when they leave it blank. That's probably worse.
What are I don't want to get anyone in too much trouble, but there's like a part of me that wants to be like, yeah, what else bugs you there? But I should be really mindful about that, especially since there's a non-zero chance that our manager is watching, because I saw him in the chat earlier.
Well, you know, I mean, I love everything about Highland, and it's perfect.
It is. You know, I do want to talk about one piece of Highland news, since we've already kind of doxed ourselves as working at Highland and everything. I had as well, but there is something I wanted to bring up. The CEO is retiring, and they have announced his successor. And
this is public. So
it is public information, but I am curious about that. Like, I feel I don't know how much notice do you give when you're retiring from that kind of position in general? I haven't been through this
I
before.
was wondering about that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's common.
At least 6 months for SEC reasons.
When
You have to announce it at least 2 earnings calls before you actually can do it.
Really?
is that only if you're publicly traded?
No.
Okay, so there has
Why
to
would
be
that
a public announcement of it, but you don't have to make a big deal of it.
I got it.
Thank you. The reason I bring it up is he gave not quite 2 weeks worth of notice at our Monday morning company-wide sync. And I'm really...
That was the public announcement.
Yeah.
He announced that his intentions internally at least 6 months ago.
I
guarantee it, because there's a lot of stuff there's a lot of paperwork and stuff that has to be prepared before they announce that.
Fair. See, that's kind of what I imagined, is like, I know other people that have retired there. Miguel, for example. There was a significant time gap between the internal company announcement and the actual happening. Even if there was a bigger one before that, it was more than like, here's my 2 weeks notice, I'm out. And it's got me thinking. I'm not sure what I'm thinking. I default to being paranoid. You guys have heard me yell about work, but...
No, I've thought about it, and I have no idea.
It's an interesting thing. I'm definitely gonna. I'm with you. I'm gonna see what happens. I'm gonna stick around as long as they'll let me, because I don't mind, as a general rule, what I do there. I enjoy the people I work with a ton.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't directly impact me that much.
Yeah,
he wasn't telling me what to do yesterday. He's not telling me what to do today. So.
The biggest interaction I've had with him, and I do want to share a positive memory, is when he wrote me an email. We do not have anymore. COVID kind of killed this one. We used to have a vendor fair, because a lot of the people at the company were also like crafters. And I sold candles there. I run a candle business. I sold candles at the craft fair. And I sold some to him. And he sent me a thank you email because they went over really well as gifts. And he knew who I was because of that. We were not like buddy or anything, but like he had a attachment in his head. This is not just an employee. This is a person I have interacted with that I remember their name. And for a while, he was very invested with the tech outreach stuff, the high school classes we teach and stuff like that. He came in to judge the hackathons and to oversee the summer interns and stuff like that. So he knew me because I was very involved with all of that, too. I am not a big deal in any sense of the word, but he was aware of who I was. I existed as a person to him. And I don't want to get all like waxing nostalgic for the old days or anything, but that's something that used to be a lot more prevalent in the company. We used to be a small company. In a small company, everybody knows who everybody is. When I could count during a commercial the number of people we had at the company in total, I'm trying to figure out a way to say small hundreds. When we had small hundreds people, I knew many of those people. When we got more people, I knew less of those people. And now the people that I did know are aging out or got when we had various other events or whatever. And it's unnerving. It is unnerving. Anyway, I definitely wish Bill Premer the best in his retirement. The absolute best. Because to me, as a human being, as an individual, he's good people. Unlike certain other executives that I'm not going to call out by name.
I met him once, actually, because I did, they had like an agile class they used to do, and he took the class the day I did it.
Was I teaching that day?
No, you were not. It was well, I don't know if I should say his name, but
Okay, it wasn't me though, because I taught that class quite a few times as well.
really?
Yeah.
Oh. You missed out apparently.
I did. Well,
Oh, but it was cool. But he was a very nice guy. I mean, he felt like it didn't feel like there was someone, like different, like taking the class. If that makes sense.
right. He always came across like. I understand it's kind of a skill you have to have at any executive level like that.
I mean, yeah, at a certain point it is just kind of like
but he's
something he's able to do. But still,
Yeah.
Like I talked to him briefly, and he was just like,
he a people. They're doing his job too. Yeah.
he was interested in, what we were doing and that kind of stuff. I mean,
We
the
teach.
fact that he did it at all was pretty interesting to me. That he was interested enough to spend a whole day doing that just to learn how we do stuff.
My biggest takeaway from the Scrum classes that I both took and taught. Do you remember at the end of the day where you had to build the Lego city?
Yes, I remember the Legos. I have a picture.
They have giant round tables, they have boxes of assorted Legos, and they take blue, like painter's tape, and they put a road and a like branching road off of it, and they put a water feature somewhere on the table. And then they have things that the city planner wants, and you have to build Lego buildings that meet those requirements in a fixed amount of time to simulate doing sprints. You have 5 minutes to do as many of these as you can commit to doing. Let's discuss how tough they're going to be. You have a huge box of unsorted Legos. How are we going to divide the work? Who's going to do which part? What can I help someone else do? Do you need me to go through and pick these out while I'm sorting or whatever? And my biggest contribution to the class is I pointed out that when you're putting down the water feature, you can fold 2 corners in together of the tape to make a little shark fin that sticks out of the water feature. So now every water feature on the Scrum class table has a shark.
I don't know if there was a water feature when I did it.
Well, then whoever was teaching your class was a bum. They should have put the water feature, and they needed to put the shark there.
Well, I'm wondering. I don't know if you were teaching actually when I took it, because I was like right when I joined.
I might not have been at that time yet.
I think I have vague memories of you being on the other like infrastructure team.
Yeah.
I think you hadn't gone into like the education. So.
Well, no, even then, like before I went to the ed team, I was still volunteering to teaching, but
they hadn't been invented yet.
because I went through not only the Agile class, but I went through our internal Scrum Master training, and then I went out and got my certificate. Which, why don't I have? I don't have that on my resume because I don't want to do it. That's why I don't have that on my resume.
You have to strategically decide
what skills am I willing to market? What things am I planning to do for money?
It's the reason I don't put knows about Jira on my resume.
Yeah.
Same.
I have a PSM1 and I don't want anybody to know it.
No, we'll just leave that.
I know JQL. I gave up on the web interface, their crappy web, like, just switch to the advanced. I can write the JQL faster than I could fight with any of the menus. I am never telling anybody I know how to do that.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Ain't their business. Ain't their business. If they really needed it, they'd be paying more for it.
Well, I remember, I won't say his name, but one of the members on our team, when he first joined, he like one-off mentioned like, oh, I used Jira at my old job like once, and suddenly he was like the Jira guy that we asked for everything. Like, well, he knows how to use Jira, right? He could do the thing for us.
I had that problem. I am not a fluent Spanish speaker, but I speak comfortable Spanish. And I ran into that at GameStop once when I volunteered to help a customer that did not speak English that happened to be in our store. And there were members of management around.
Yeah.
And like someone asked me, why didn't you list on your application that you speak Spanish? And I said, because I will be expected to then.
Well, that's dangerous too. Like,
Yeah, I don't want to
you
be
know.
on call when someone shows up that you can't communicate with.
Well,
I
and you
can't
don't wanna
be
get,
the
like,
person.
especially like if you speak Spanish but not like super fluently.
Yeah.
You don't want to accidentally like say the wrong thing to people or like.
Yeah,
Same with
that
sign
would
language.
be-
yeah, yeah.
Just because you know some sign language does not mean you can be an interpreter for somebody. Because you saying what you're saying versus like trying to hear and also repeat, like do pass through is a lot harder, and also you may not be like, yeah.
They are different skills, and you know when they listed on the application, yeah, no, I'm not gonna put it down in that circumstance because A, my comfort level is not great, B, my skill level has an upper bound, and C, I don't feel like that will be something that works to my advantage for them to know. You know? So when I go back and apply at GameStop again, 'cause I'm looking for
We're going back.
I'm looking for an 8th job at this point, you know? I've got Zeldathon, I've got Highland, I've got Hurgle. I need more jobs. I don't have enough jobs
now
yet.
you're just running
And
the number
candles.
up how high
And
to go.
candles. And
Candles and notebooks.
and notebooks. Those are part of the same thing. Bell book and candle and gift makes notebooks. They are the gifts.
Jay, they're notebooks. Book is already in the name.
That is true.
Bell, book, and candle. Book is already there. It's just bell, book, parenthesis, notebook.
Parentheses.
And we do soap too. Don't forget about that. I haven't done a batch in a hot minute, but we do soaps as well. That is a thing that we do.
That's just unflammable candles.
You can flam them. You just have to flam them very hard.
Mm-hmm. Anything's flammable.
I can-
Try hard enough.
Rocks are flammable if you give it enough juice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, I am so mad. I forgot to tell you guys to save me the lens from the TV.
It's in the
The
garage.
giant TV. Oh,
It's in the garage. You can have it anytime you want it. You want to make a death ray with a giant
Yes.
frontal lens?
yes, I do.
It's yours.
Yes, I do.
It's yours. Remind me next time you come. I would say remind me next time you come over, but I have a sneaking suspicion as soon as we get out of the podcast, you're going to drive over to pick it up. You're just going to show up and be like, where is it?
No, I got projects to do before I do that. But
Oh, fine.
Yeah.
But yes, no, it is here. We are keeping it for you. See,
we'll
kids,
slam some rocks.
in the old days, before we had LED displays and plasma TVs and all of that, we had rear projection TVs, and the screen had a giant flat lens, one of the ones with the concentric rings, that kind of, yeah, that you can use to focus sunlight to a dangerous degree. And yeah, we had a 52-inch rear projection TV that had one of these. And we dismantled the TV piecewise and got rid of it when it stopped working, and we started attempting unsuccessfully to clear out the basement where it was. But we did keep that. We did keep that. In case we needed to make a death ray. You know how it goes.
And you're right. I found an old picture. I referenced measurements of other things, and just in the pixels, I'm like, okay, if I know this is this big, draw. Okay, yeah, no, that TV wasn't actually that big.
It was 52 inches diagonal, and it was 4:3 aspect ratio. Yeah. But remember, we were kids at the time too. 52 inches was the biggest TV we'd ever seen. It was taller than us.
I mean, even when we bought those 32-inch TVs that we ended up using, you used as a monitor for a long time. That was huge.
Yeah, yeah.
Those were $1,000 a piece. Those were huge. And that was 24 years, 2000, 2001, somewhere around there. I was at Big Lots, so 2001. Yeah.
I'm
That was
envisioning trying
$1,000
to
for a
like
32-inch TV.
yeah. I'm envisioning trying to go back to working on a 640 by 480 16-inch monitor. I can't even picture it anymore. I'm spoiled.
Open up Paint and set a canvas to a 640 and look how big it is on your monitor, and you're just like,
Yeah.
I don't understand this.
It's
Pixels were big back in the day.
My main monitor is a 1440. Granted, it's a 32-inch. Yeah, this one's the 32 because I did upgrade it. Yeah, because this is the IPS one that I hate. But that's a 32-inch monitor. My third monitor over here is a 40-some inch 4K TV.
Okay, let's
And so
start
it's like,
with I have a third
Pixel.
monitor.
You have 3 monitors.
Yes, but can you imagine telling us that 20 years ago?
I have a vertical monitor over here.
Not only will your monitor be 4 times as big as it is now, you'll have 3 of them, and it still won't be enough room.
Yeah.
Your programs will just expand to take it over.
And then the monitor, you can see the edge over here is my big development monitor that I had for my last job that they just let me keep because technically I bought it and then expensed it, and then just like, we don't know who actually owns it. But it's a wide one.
Yeah.
Oh man. VS Code in a wider than 16:9 monitor is so great. You just leave your bars open, just you have all the space. Line wrapping's just a thing of the past.
This ain't 1984. We don't have to stop at 80 characters.
What'd you say, Matt?
Do you know what'd make that even better?
What?
Could be Vim.
It could be Vim.
Could be Vim.
You know, Vim is pretty incredibly powerful.
You would have.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there.
I had a coworker that used Vim with all the modules and lines, and he basically had ASCII VS Code.
It's great.
It is. It is. I'm not going to deny that. Matt is the staunch and ardent Vim supporter of our group, and he's starting to get me to come around on it.
Really? Oh, I didn't know.
Vim and Firefox and Linux.
Who'd have thought they'd go together like that?
I used to have a Vim extension for Firefox. I gave that up a little while ago because it's too much of a pain. But
You got your
pretty
peanut
cool
butter
for a
flavored protein powder in my coffee. Two great tastes that taste together.
it kind of worked. It just gave you Vim key bindings for everything.
Fair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Okay.
You get your delete a line and repeat until
But they had a good one, but I forget. Like, it's probably a long time ago now. But they changed the extensions at some point, and the old one was no longer compatible. And so then they had a new one. It wasn't quite as good, and eventually it just became too annoying because I never really used them anyway.
Oh yeah.
But
That reminds me, I need to go check
Uh-oh.
the Chrome web store.
What are you looking for in the Chrome web store?
I had to resubmit an extension that I maintain. I had to update it for Manifest.
Wait a minute. I didn't know about... well, I may know about this one. I don't know if I know about this one. What extension do you run there, fella?
I have one. I have a personal one that I'm never going to tell you about. I have one that I maintain, that I used to maintain for my previous team, that just added a view source button, but not really a view source so much as it could pull apart the URL for the site you were on and send you to the correct repo internally, because people could never remember which repo went to which created which website. So we're like, I'm on some subdomain.company.com. How do I change this? And you just hit this button and it would send you to the right repo. And depending on the URL, it could even figure out which folder or even which file in that repo controlled the thing you were looking at. It was like a huge complicated if switch stack of stuff. And like okay, if you got this, it's in this folder, it's in this file, it's probably this, and just send. It was effectively a view source button.
Okay, so if I'm understanding correctly, you have a personal one that you're never going to tell us about.
Yes.
Okay, that's the important part I took out of everything you just said. I have never been more curious in my life, and now I know I'll never know, and it's killing me. It will eat me alive from the inside out. But that's okay. That's okay. That's all good.
Ready to publish. It got approved.
Yay!
It got delisted because I hadn't updated it
Yeah.
in enough time.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you didn't say why you needed this permission. I'm like, I don't. And I just had to fill in the box because I left it blank because it was an internal thing.
Now, you know, it ain't the same as like a web Chrome extension thing, but we were talking briefly about now that you're learning how to package things for other people's ecosystems like that. Do we want to make a what are is it a Twitch extension? Are they called extensions?
Yeah.
Do we want to make a Twitch extension for Cafe? Is that a thing we need?
Yes, we do. Yes.
Should we lean on Grant about that next week?
No, we don't have to. It's really easy to write it. It's a bunch of web junk, and you just communicate over, fetch calls to an asynchronous backend to get the data. A lot of there's a Magic the Gathering one, so you could see what's in their hands and stuff. There's a really great one that I have turned on when I play Destiny 2. You can just like mouse over and see my loadout. Like, what gun are you? Saves you from like, what gun are you using? It's right there on the thing. There's a popular D&D one that you can, as long as people stay on the right places of the screen, whoever's streaming it, like you put the box around the person and you can mouse over and see their character sheet at any time to like see their stats and stuff without having like, oh, what are they playing? It's like, no, it's like, and it's an overlay in the Twitch viewer.
Yeah.
So we could easily have, and you have a couple turned on your stream.
I have like the sound alerts one, and
yeah, the sound alerts one, but like, you can either do them entirely within like your little scratcher one, but you could have it talking to a back end that basically we take the web interface for Cafe Game and we put it in there. So you just like, when the store is open, we do a heartbeat call to see when the store's open or closed. And you could just like click orders from there, and it's got the same session data as the Twitch user. So it can send it as your Twitch user to the back end and all that malarkey, all within the browser.
Man, this sounds downright doable. I'm really intrigued now. I hadn't done a whole lot of homework into them, and now you got me thinking this might not be a bad idea.
It's one of the things that's very well documented on the Twitch developer stuff.
Oh, good, because there are a few things where the documentation is not well. It exists. There is documentation, but it's technical. It is technical to the point of being impenetrable. That's what. If I have a complaint about Twitch documentation, it is that. There are places that are straight up impenetrable. And they wouldn't be so bad if I knew what I was doing. I'd be able to understand them better. If I knew what I was doing, I wouldn't be in the goddamn documentation in the first place, though. That's the problem. It's the price you pay working with anybody else's system at any point, though. There's...
crowd control.
Oh yeah,
Things
crowd
like
control's got a dope one.
Basically that, like, it knows the game they're playing and what to show and what interact, and then it sends it from them to their back end and not like through chat. Basically, we need that crowd control widget for Cafe Game, and basically that same interface. Like, realistically, just without the coin part, like, to start off, just simple list, click the thing, hit buy.
Now that brings up another interesting question. What game are we going to add crowd control to? What kind of chaos game are we going to make that will allow you to buy additional chaos for the streamer?
I would say, and I know you have qualms about this, Metroid Run. Because you could add 30 seconds of heavy gravity, where they can't jump as high. You know, so they can't just like do that ceiling grind to jump over gaps, or slow mode, or runs even faster. Like just literally controlling their ability to, or extra low gravity, where they jump and it's like they're not even landing. Yeah. Because those are basically just numbers you could easily modify.
If we're going to do that, we have to take the Metroid out of it, but...
Cafe, or not, well, maybe cafe game. Cafe game, like a lunch rush, just slam 10 people in the queue that all want stuff like... And they don't even check, they already have their order. And it's not like, well, you know, like, oh, if I take this out of the order, before the next NPC spawns, they know to not order that because it's not for sale. No, lunch rush. Boom, here's 10 people in the queue ready to go. They have the orders, whether or not you 86 them. Or close shop early. Or nothing for 4 less items for sale the next day. Or everything in the shop's double price. So hope you don't gotta go buy something in the middle of the day. Or time ticks twice as fast. You know? You want help finding ways to punish a person? I'm your person.
Yeah, I cannot disagree with that. I'm trying to say that as politely and diplomatically as I can, but you 100% are correct there, sir. You are the one I would trust.
We could have unsort a shelf randomly. Move a bunch of...
Oh,
if you're in sorting mode, just do like basically the auto random switch from the watch mode.
Yeah.
You pay some coins as like switch 10 things. Just 10 random things, whether or not they're sorted, they all just swap places.
That's atrocious. That's a war crime there, man. I love it. Let's do it. Let's do it. I think we broke poor Matt with the idea, but I'm
These dumb things are too mean.
I'm very intrigued in that. The thing with Cafe is, as we're building out the web interface more, I want to add crowd control to something eventually, but I don't know if this is the one, because we're basically building our own already with that. To some extent.
You got to remember with crowd control, it has to not be a core component of the way the game is designed.
Right.
Because it has to be played entirely without it. Unless it literally is, this exists for crowd control as a money-making thing. You know, unless it is literally just a tip jar torture machine. If you're adding it to a game, it has to modify the game.
Write down that name. Write down that name. I have ideas now. They are starting to gel in my mind in all sorts of terrible ways. Tip jar torture machine. Hell, I should name my next band that.
Well, think about it. If you got something that's Jiggy playing Dark Souls with crowd control, you are basically paying money to torture the person. You are interfering, big head mode or one health or whatever. You are paying money to... You are Squid Gaming it up. You are the rich person throwing money at the problem to cause interference. It is a tip jar torture machine. Is that not what that is?
Crowd control options that help the person playing.
But you usually notice the ones that help them are usually cheaper, and the ones that hurt are cost more to generate more money. You want to throw more money at. You want to interfere me, set my life to 1? Cool. It's going to cost you like $2 whole. You want to make my. You want to add help or give me immunity for 30 seconds? Cool. It costs 20 coins. It's 500 to set my health to 1. Or because it's throw money to hurt.
Fair.
It is dunk tank the principle.
Yeah.
Throw money to hurt the person.
Somehow the dunk tank analogy never quite hit home with me, and like, I hadn't thought about it that way, and that's exactly what it is. That is exactly what it is. I don't know why I never realized that before.
And I mean, like, actual dunk tape, not the thing with the bucket you guys did.
Look, there's a finite amount of room we had, for one thing.
I know, but I also wonder if people actually know what a dunk tank is. Because I haven't seen one at, like, a fair in a very long time.
It's been a hot minute, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they weren't the safest of things, so that might have...
That is true. That is true.
It's not that fairs are really known for having the most safe of...
As attested to by the fact that our fairgrounds is right next to a hospital. And the ER there when they have the county fair. Oh, it's a sight to behold.
Oh, yeah. They're on high alert for dumb. Just maximum dumb alert.
It's wild. So a fishing minigame with a dungeon grind stapled to it, with an auction house that only exists in the dungeon, with crowd control that can warp you out of the dungeon and into the pond with the fish. Perfect. Ship it. I love it. It's gold. We're done.
I think if you take that sentence and paste it in GPT and say, write me a game that does this and see what happens.
That's worrisome, because I'm sure that it would.
Did you see the story about GPT and the CSV or the
No.
the attack? What's the thing where they give, like, is it CVA, CVS? The number where they're like the vulnerability number thing, like, oh, it's this, the global vulnerability numbering system.
Oh, what the heck is that?
CVV.
No.
Yeah.
No, the...
LMNOP.
There's a C and a V in there. I don't remember what it is.
CV.
Whatever that is.
Yeah.
They took the list of them, just the title, just the main, not even the description, just the title. And they fed that to GPT just based on what the name of it was. And it was able to create those vulnerabilities on what they probably were in like 80, like it's like some like 80 or 95%, like really high percentage. It got what that vulnerability actually was just based on the name of it. They're like, here's a list of the top 100 of these. Go create them. And it's like, all right. And it created what it probably was just based on that name. And it's like, and they were working code too. And they were damn close to what the actual vulnerability code was. And they're like, that's kind of terrible. Not like I described it in full detail and got an idea of what the attack process was and the things, and then it could create the actual vulnerability code. And like, no, the header.
Wow.
It's like, okay, that's approaching Skynet rapidly.
Security is a losing game in any way you go about it. That don't work. But this, ooh. I don't know, man. It's tough to keep on top of, and I mean, security was tough in the first place, and it's always a race. And now it sounds like There is just an extra large tool on behalf of the people who want to get around the security stuff. That's gross. I don't like it. I mean, and that's... It worries me a little bit, and that's as someone that has been a huge champion of, yay, generative coding. I love that stuff. That does not inspire a whole lot of confidence.
CVE.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That sounds right, yeah.
Heck. Don't know why I couldn't remember that one, but.
Now, see, this is why...
GPT.
This is why they make us go through security training, like recurrent security training. This is why we have to take those courses all the time, is new and interesting threats appear all the time. And old ones never go away. They don't. You have to watch out for them.
Yeah.
When given the CVE description, GPT-4 is capable of exploiting 87% of these vulnerabilities compared to 0 from the description.
Grody.
Like, this isn't even like Skip Kitty's going and like downloading the newest package and running it. This is just like, I shouted a name of a vulnerability and it created one from that and then could use it. And the engine was able to exploit it.
Wow.
Just from the red. But it's like, oh, okay. It's no longer like, okay, we're describing it, but we're not going to give you the proof of concept, proof of concept code to do it because that might be dangerous. It's like, no, just the mere. It's like you could imagine if you just fed patents into a machine and you got the item that it was describing.
Yikes. But cool. But
that's
yikes.
what we did for security vulnerabilities.
And yet we don't have replicators yet. The children are down in the mines, and the computers are making the art and the poetry.
I mean, have you seen 3D printers?
I have seen 3D printers.
Have you seen the new... No, have you seen the new Ugu ones that are 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter?
No, I have not. That I have not seen.
Yeah.
Hey, I know what I want for Christmas this year. Maybe. I don't know. I think.
3D printers are fun. I would recommend.
They are. I had a tiny little one of my own, and I loved it, and I used it a lot. And then it stopped working, and now I need to get one. But the thing is, I had the M3D Micro, and it was perfect for me. It took no setup. You put it down, you plug it in, everything just worked.
Mm-hmm.
And they stopped making them. And now, if I want to get a big boy one, it's going to take actual calibration and setup and assembly and all of that, which I get, but...
They have some that are, like good to go, but they are pricey. I mean...
They do self-leveling and stuff, don't they? They do 4-point self... And then the bed, like, twists and stuff and, like, will auto-level it. You just throw it on the desk, say, figure your shit out, tell me when you're done. And then you just feed it a file and you're done. Yeah.
Yeah. They're nice, though. I want to get one, but those aren't like your cheap $100 Ender 3.
Yeah.
No.
Those are bare bones, but they work, and they're like $100, which is kind of amazing.
Thing is, if you ask me at any point in time, what would you make with a 3D printer? My answer will 100% be, I don't know. But the reason I say I don't know is, I don't know yet. It's not that I can't come up with anything, and it's not like if I have one, I'll never use it because I don't have a plan. It's until I'm in the moment where I need a glort and I can print a glort on the machine, I'm not going to think, hey, I'm going to use it to make a glort when the glort breaks on my Frobnicator. You know?
Hold on 1 second.
3D printers solve the problem of the reason that the Container Store exists.
Yeah.
I need a container or a sorting or a thing of this specific shape to hold this specific thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you just be like, if you have bare minimum, you know, whatever modeling. So like, here is the shape. I need it about this big. Extrude, and it creates it.
Yeah.
You know, you got, I need a pen caddy, but I want a divider, but I don't want 4 sections. I want a half and then one in the middle. I could just print this. But if I didn't want this round, if I needed it in a specific triangle, flat on one side and triangle on the other, because I've got a weird triangle
to fit next to the widget on your desk, yeah.
Yeah. That's what people don't realize they need.
Yeah.
If I need a clip to hold a thing, there's people I see like, oh, I needed a bracket that fit this, and I could just, it was faster for me to just go take a couple measurements, throw together a rough model, have it make it, then go try to go to the store and find this part.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I have so much stuff where it's just some random thing I was never going to find, but I just designed it real quick and print it out, and it's perfect.
Spipo, I think I'm going to need you to link me to that modular storage system. Maybe it'll be enough to motivate me to actually go and get my printer now.
I think I know the one that she's talking about.
Oh,
There's
man.
a couple of them, but like, there's a great one for, yeah. There's a great one for pegboard stuff too.
There's like it's like a comb storage one. Goes on the wall. I have a couple of those.
I'm into it.
It's pretty good. I will say on those, some of them can use a lot of plastic. And it's not. If they use a lot of plastic, it's not the cheapest thing in the world.
Well, yeah, but if I happen to have a whole lot of spare plastic for some reason.
But, counterpoint to that, how much money would you spend either on shipping, and also ordering one bespoke part if they sold that specific bracket you needed? You're not going to be able to order one from a manufacturer. If you do find one, it's going to be on Amazon. They know they're going to mark it up by like $5 or $10 to get you because you need one and not 100.
Yeah.
And how much, or going to the store, there's a cost in gas and also your time to go to different stores to try to find it and match it and fail and get the wrong one and come back. Versus like, I can create it and it is here and not shipped. And it's not shipped from China in 6 to 8 weeks and it's here now.
No, I totally agree. It's mostly just like some of the storage things. Like, you can literally go on Amazon and buy a storage cabinet, you know. And it's like you could print one, but like you're gonna spend like $20 on plastic to print one and spend like a week doing it. Some of the things people make are not as practical as they could be.
No, but they're cool and they're made yourself.
They're very cool. I love it. Like I do stupid stuff with my 3D printer all the time. But it's for larger stuff, it's not as practical. Depending on what it is and how many you need.
Oh.
Yo.
All vice?
Gridfinity.
Yeah.
Where's my thing to share this now? I'm gonna put this on the thing. I gotta share this. This is cool.
Pretty cool.
Wait. Ball vice?
Gridfinity. 3D printed super quick tool storage and retrieval. I am into this.
Oh, that one. Why am I getting a different...
I opened a different link. We're looking
okay.
at different links, I promise. Never chase your pen around on the desk again? That would be useful for the cats. They chase my pens around on the desk. Not that I'm mad because they keep eating my purple pens.
Even if you factor in the cost of the plastic, which recycled plastic, like it is getting cheaper for if you need a large print, you don't need, if you're doing a large print like this, you can use less infill because you don't need the structure for it. It's not load bearing. It's not shear building. It's holding a thing. You could print very loose infill. But if you needed like, oh, that's great. But like I needed, my specific case, I needed 24 and the container I found here only has 20. I can just add more. Mm-hmm. Or I have a slightly bigger pair of scissors that don't fit in these trays, I can make the customability of any of those files that you get outweighs the cost.
Yeah.
You know, I could spend $15 on Amazon or $20 to print it myself, but I can make infinite modifications to the one that I'm printing.
And at the end of the day, it is all about customization. Like I said, I would have to go back and find a list of the things I 3D printed, but I made a whole lot of them. But it was always, when I needed a thing, it was easy to mash some buttons and get a specific thing. When I was helping someone put together pieces for some cosplay they were doing, I could print out specific bolts at specific sizes out of soft plastic material that wouldn't hurt anybody, even if they were big and spiky.
Yeah.
When Scott was looking for an emblem for his motorcycle based on the logo from a video game. They don't actually make them. Like, it's not an actual emblem, and we made him one and painted it silver, and yeah. Like, because we could make the thing we needed in the moment. That was #1 use case, and I love him for that. I loved mine. I quite literally loved it to death. What would you print?
The dumbest thing you're going to think of, and you're going to think, oh my god, why didn't I think of that? Hood ornaments.
Yeah.
Those decorative centerpiece hood ornaments in the middle. I'd print the dumbest, weirdest little things, and I'd swap it. Oh, it broke? I have another one ready to go.
Yep.
I'd make it, if it lasted a couple weeks, it broke down the UV and it sheared off and flew off. I don't care. I got another one in the glove box. I'll throw the next one on. I'd model the curve. I'd make a little mounting system. I'd snap it in. If it falls off in a month or two, okay.
Cool. I've got a spare. Yeah. I've got a spare.
I'd make spaceships. I'd make an Enterprise. I'd make a Firefly. I'd make, you know, all the different ships from all the different sci-fi shows. Just have them ready to just slot them in.
Is it conceivable to make an Aztec death whistle into a functional hood ornament?
Yes. They already make it.
Could you imagine one of those as like the horn on your bike? Instead of going like, you squeeze the thing and it's like screaming death cries.
I didn't know this was
you know those train horn, the train horn gun thing?
Yeah.
With, like, somebody took a bunch of those. They 3D printed fittings for them and jammed one of those Amazon things in each thing.
Ugh. Terrifying. That is creepy.
Somebody used it for crowd control.
Oh, God.
To disperse a crowd. They just went in the middle of the crowd and everybody left.
I can understand that. Sometimes when there are loud noises like that unexpectedly, it can make people uncomfortable and they go away. Oh, man. So to sum up and recap, I'm going to buy a 3D printer one of these days, again.
I will make good use of it.
We'll be adding crowd control to Can Do. We could do crowd control Sudoku.
Flip a random number.
Yeah. Do you remember Sinister's Sudoku where the grid would change every time you put in a number?
Was that the one where the number would disappear?
No, I'll have to find it and show you.
How do you do that and still have a valid puzzle if the number switches?
There are a couple ways. I'll walk you through the mechanics off stream because I don't want to give away all the big secrets here. But if every time someone tipped, the puzzle shuffled, it remained solvable, but it was now a different puzzle every time someone threw money in the jar. Sinister Sudoku's the one we should remake, and we should put crowd control support in it. I like that. There we go. There's our plan. All right, we're at about 8 o'clock. I need to go get some pizza. It's just been kind of chilling on the stove. Thank you very much to the roommate for making me pizza. I appreciate you. Love you, Ashley. You're the best. Any final thoughts you guys want to share with anybody before we get out of here?
Go buy Can Do.
Go buy Can Do. I got that command in the chat still, right? If I do that, yeah. go throw some money in the hat for us if you like what we do, because it enables us to continue to do it. Matt, thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to having you back again. I hope you've had as good a time as we have. Fuzzy, as always, it's a pleasure to see you, and I will catch up with you sooner than later, one way or another. Everybody here, thank you for being here with us, and we look forward to catching you next time on the Blue House Bowl Session. Take it easy.
Toot toot.